welcome to Being Power Woman, the talk show. I am so happy that you can join us another Thursday here in this space. And of course, we all the other weeks we have a special guest, and this week is Jacqueline Perez. Jacqueline, hi and welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, Nancy. Thank you for inviting me.
I am so happy for I know that we are going to be talking about something very important about the women's and everything. But before that, who are you and what exactly you do?
So my name is Jacqueline Perez, and I go by Jack. A long time ago, they didn't want to spend the time saying my full name. So somehow I ended up with Jack, which is fine, Jacqueline or Jack. And I am an entrepreneur. I run a digital platform to normalize aging for women 45 and above. And yes, I am doing it for the women who are currently in midlife and beyond. But more importantly, Nancy, I want to normalize aging for our younger sisters, for our daughters, our nieces, our cousins, those women who haven't quite got to this part of their life yet. I want them to know that it is normal, that all of the feelings, all of the symptoms, all of the opportunities and challenges, that they're all normal. And honestly, the best way to navigate it is for us to be able to share that with one another and learn from one another and play too, right? I mean, we have to have fun in this world. So that's who I am, and that's what I do in a nutshell.
I love that because yes, it is important that we can talk about this, especially for women who are in the 45, that actually the 45 are like the new 35. I mean, I'm 41. I still feel like I'm in the 30s. But it's true. We have to talk about this. But what was your motivation behind this? Why did you start with this project?
So around the time I was 52 or 53, I'm 57. So you are a baby, my friend. Right around 52 or 53, Nancy, I began to experience a lot of bizarre symptoms. I gained about 20 to 30 pounds. I got back up to the weight that I was when I gave birth to my son. And it just sort of happened over time. I didn't think I had changed anything. I hadn't changed my behavior. I was still exercising. I was still eating well. And also I started having difficulty regulating my emotions, major brain fog. I mean, there were times where I literally thought, am I exhibiting early onset dementia? Am I exhibiting early onset Alzheimer's? And I just wasn't I wasn't a good Jack. I wasn't a good partner. I wasn't a good entrepreneur. I sure as heck wasn't a good mom. When I went to go look for information to help myself, because I thought I have to be able to do something about this. Mm-hmm. I'm 52. I have a long life ahead of me. I'm planning on being here for quite a long time. And I don't want to feel this way for the second half of my life. It's too long to be this uncomfortable. The other thing that happened to me, Nancy, I started to have feelings of anxiety, which was crazy. I'm not an anxious person. So combine all of these symptoms with this notion of, I'm not going anywhere. I need to fix this. And then I realized, well, am I the only one who's experiencing these symptoms or these feelings? Could I be the only person? Because when I went to go look for information, I couldn't really find anything. The information that's out there is really targeted to our youth. We live in a very youth-centric world, at least in this country, in the United States, at least in North America. And then all of the information that I started to find that was directed at my age category was more about Botox or Juvederm or anti-aging. Cut your hair short, color your hair, don't color your hair. What does that mean? And I'm like, well, all of that is baloney. That is not, those are things that we can choose or not choose. Those are elective situations about how we want to proceed as we age. But that has nothing to do with aging as far as I'm concerned. And I wanted to start those conversations where we could sit and share with one another. Maybe my son is leaving for college and maybe I'm happy about it. You know what? That's normal. Mm-hmm. Maybe my son's leaving for college and I'm devastated about it. I'm grieving. That's normal as well. I really want us to be able to have those conversations so that we can be inclusive with one another and support one another. Every other human, more than every other human, Nancy, because women outnumber men, go through this transition.
Mm-hmm.
So why aren't we talking about it? Why isn't it normal? Why aren't we addressing all of these opportunities? And a lot of them are opportunities. I'm not going to lie. You have a lot to look forward to as you age. It only gets better. I
Yeah.
promise. I promise.
You know that it is very nice what you're doing, because it is true. My mom, she is 61, and she had so many problems when she started her 40s, and there was not that kind of information. My best friend, she is almost in the 50, and she doesn't find that information. Everything is about, oh, look younger, look younger. But why? I want to live my life, my age, and see what is going ahead. I mean, understand my body, understand my feelings, understanding my changes. But at the same time, why I have to like go back to my 30s or 20 just to say, okay, I feel beautiful, I feel young, I feel a woman. So exactly, how do you help women? I mean, I know that you actually talk about it, and you have a group of women that you help, but how do you help them?
I created a digital platform. I was just thinking, you know what? Send your mom and your friend who's in their 50s, if they want information that is relevant to what they're experiencing, send them to Cool Life. Send
Okay.
them to the platform. So, I mean, your question it was really interesting because your question was perfect for what you just said about your mom and your friend.
Mm-hmm.
I created a digital platform called Cool Life. And the reason it's called Cool Life, and it's spelled weird, it's spelled Kuel rather than Cool, but
Mm-hmm.
Cool wasn't available. But if you're hip, and I just dated myself, nobody uses the word hip anymore. If you go to Urban Dictionary and you look the word up, cool, Cool, you'll see Kuel as an alternative, which is why I chose
Mm-hmm.
it.
Okay.
Because I believe that we can continue to live our cool lives the entire time we're breathing. We don't have
Mm-hmm.
to become invisible. We don't have to slow down if we don't want to. If we these are choices that we can make. So to answer your question, I built this digital platform, a repository for to be able to curate the relevant and important information that is um, perfectly designed for us at this time in life, because we at this time of life it gets more complicated, right? We have aging parents, we have kids who are leaving the home if we decided to have kids,
Mm-hmm.
we have the physiological changes. A lot of women start their own business after 50,
Yes.
huge numbers of
Yes.
entrepreneurs, women leaving the workforce. So I could go on and on and on. How are we going to navigate these waters
Mm-hmm.
without the information? I went out and began talking to women. At first, it was cold calling, Nancy. I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of research or online stalking, depending on the way you want to look at things. But I would approach women that I saw were out there as leaders, as industry thought leaders in the
Mm-hmm.
categories that I believed were important to me. And honestly, when I built it, the initial build was to satisfy a particular need in my life,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I assumed that if I had that need, that many other women had the same need. So I started to research and find industry thought leaders out there in the world. And the interesting part is that my um, content providers, my roster of experts, they're global.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter,
Mm-hmm.
because I also believe that getting cross-cultural perspectives on some of these opportunities and challenges that appear to us at this time is really valuable to us, right? Because just getting a different perspective. That's why I have, say, 4 or 5 women who write about money, because money is a really important topic. And these
Yes.
4 to 5 women have completely different viewfinders and
Mm-hmm.
perspectives. They come at it from very different vantage points. So they're going to appeal to different women. But money is still a really relevant topic, right? For
Mm-hmm.
women as we age. That's an example of how I support the pro-aging movement. And the other thing that I did, Nancy, was I talked about all of the entrepreneurs, right, that are flooding the marketplace. A great percentage of them are women after 50.
Yes.
I wanted to be able to support that as well, I created an e-commerce platform to add to the digital media that basically only houses women-driven brands. My focus is to support and promote women entrepreneurs. Now, not all the women-driven brands are women over 45, because that's not the relevant part. At that point, honestly, the relevant part is that it gives us an opportunity to purchase with a purpose. You are buying from another woman directly. You are empowering another woman. You're literally putting money in her pocket, paying for her kids' ballet class, putting food on that table. What a better way to put your money where your mouth is than to promote and empower other women.
I love that. And I'm all about women empowerment. Many of my projects are, working with the women empowerment part. But going a little bit back, when we're talking about this new aging, right? The way that we are seeing the aging and that change and everything in the Latina community. I mean, you know that you are also a little bit tied to the Latina community.
Oh,
We're
yo soy
Cubana.
100% cubana. I'm not a little bit tied,
Okay,
my
okay.
friend.
So yeah,
Yo,
you are Latina.
yo soy latina. No,
So
no lo
you're
parezco, estoy un poquito blanca para ser latina, pero soy latina.
yeah. So you're going to know what I'm going to say. We are teach from since we are little girls that we have to think about our houses, our kids, our husband, the community, our family, and everything. And the last thing we have to think about is ourselves. Once we say, okay, I want to think about me, I want to do this for me, I want to do this because I want to, then it's a selfish. Oh, you're being selfish. So for the Latino community, it's even harder to think about how I'm going to live this new challenge in my life, how I'm going to see my kids going to the university or even thinking about starting a business, because all the time we have been hearing that we have to like live for the kids, live for the house, live for the husband, live for the community, for the church, and for everything else. And we're the last one. So in my part, I'm trying to motivate and inspire women to actually think about themselves without being without that stigma that, oh, we're being selfish. I mean, have you been working with Latina women, and is this something that maybe happens when you work with women?
Well, what's interesting, honestly, Nancy, I know so many women that are not Latina who feel the exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hear what you're saying because I grew up in a very male dominated chauvinistic household. I remember being a kid and thinking to myself, yeah, I'm not dating a Latin man. Not doing that because I'm not going to be my mother. My reaction to that cultural upbringing was to actually push against it
Mm-hmm.
rather than fall prey to it. But so many women, you know, react differently. They take it on, and they do take on that sense of, I need to take care of everybody else, everything else, and I don't get to take care of me at all. But while yes, it is a strong cultural message in Latin America,
Yes.
I know so many women who are born and raised here in the United States of America and in the UK or Australia or New Zealand. And I'm mentioning mostly English speaking countries because those are the major
Mm-hmm.
conversations I'm currently having, although I would love and look forward to having conversations with cultures that the language will be a little bit of a challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm still thinking that there's so much to learn from that cross-cultural sharing.
Mm-hmm.
But those women too, Nancy, those women too have difficulty taking care of themselves, putting
Yeah,
themselves first.
I think it's just being women. It's just because we are women, we have to think about everything else and then think about ourselves. But if we don't take care of ourselves, then how are we going to take care of the other people? I mean, our
Right.
kids, our
Right.
husband, our houses, our church, our community, and everything else. So it's very
Right.
important to take care of ourselves. So what kind of advice would you give to a woman who is in her 50 and they're looking for information and they don't know how to deal with all the changing they are experiencing?
Wow. Well, I mean, if you're at that point where you're really sort of at the beginning of your journey and you don't have much information, I suggest honestly go to the Cool Life website. I mean, go to the about page,
Mm-hmm.
scroll down, check out all of the industry thought leaders. They're cataloged by topic. So if there's a topic that you're wanting information about, menopause, grief, autoimmune disorders, which is another thing that happens to a lot of
Mm-hmm.
women as we age, when our physiological changes happen, sometimes autoimmune disorders pop up
Mm-hmm.
for us. um, Money, sex, dry vagina. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you've got a problem. We probably have an article out there that addresses it. We don't shy away from the tough topics.
Mm-hmm.
Say, you know, like loss of libido or a dry
Mm-hmm.
vagina, or but I guarantee you our thought leaders address these topics in a very positive, empowering, inclusive way, right? I mean, they don't have the answer, they
Mm-hmm.
have an answer. Might
Okay.
not be the right answer for you. But in this scenario, if you're just getting into the stage of life, and more information is better than little to no information.
Mm-hmm.
And my suggestion is get yourself as much information as possible, because when it was happening to me, I didn't understand it. And I didn't know that there were things that I could do, behavioral changes that I could implement to get myself through the transition in a more healthy way. And now I'm on the other side and I'm like, that was so much harder than it needed to be. Had I had more guidance, had I had someone, you know, to share my issues with that could have given me their insight, and you know, and that's the thing. It's like not one person had the answer for me. I had to shop around and build
Mm-hmm.
the answers that were right for me. But what I want to do is bring together a whole bunch of really intelligent, smart, driven, empowering women in one location, so you can access that information and get that content without having to drive yourself crazy trying to look for it.
Super. Besides the article, is there like a Facebook group that you have, or is there like a support group that you might have for women that are looking for this kind of information?
Yes, so I do have a membership
Oh,
platform,
okay.
and
Okay.
it's super cheap. It's $9.99 a month. And if you get the whole year, I give you 2 months for free. So
Okay.
it's less than $100 for the whole month. And there you have access to a private Facebook group. You also have access to specific content that is only for members. We have a gratitude expert who provides downloadable guided meditations. I don't know about you, Nancy, but I get that meditation is important. My brain is too
Mm-hmm.
squirrely to do it on
Mm-hmm.
my own, but I can download Lori's guided meditations and listen to them on my phone, and it gives me what I need, right? And we also have downloadable breath work. We have this amazing woman who does a whole series of these different exercises, and they're videos so that you can learn, and they're short.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of member only content, and also we are doing more and more events. We
Okay.
right now have a trip to Tuscany, Italy for May.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have 3 spots left. So if any of your audience
Mhm.
members want to join 9 super cool women for a week in Italy, in Tuscany, we're going to stay at a big farmstead with like hundreds of acres of olive trees and wine making groves. So it'll be a really fun it'll
Nice.
be a really fun trip. And you know how women are. We're gonna arrive not really knowing each other, and by the
Mm-hmm.
time we leave, we're gonna
Best
be
friends.
best friends.
Best friends. I love that. I love that. Yes, that sounds super exciting. So contact, how the people can contact you, website, social media, and of course, where they can find information for this trip.
Everything, if you go to coollife.com, and that is spelled KUEL, then life, LIFE.com. If you go there, you can go to the about page and you can send me an email. You can contact me there if you want. The trip is on the homepage. You can read about the trip and reserve a spot. There's only 3 left. So we are going to sell out. And I'm also on all the social media platforms, you name it. LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook. It's all under Cool Life, Kuel Life, LIFE.com. I'm everywhere. It's easy. I'm easy to find, and I'm always looking for collaboration opportunities. I'm always looking to expand the roster of industry thought leaders. If it's something that someone in your audience wants is interested in, reach out to me. Let's talk about it.
Super. Actually, I will be adding the website so you can actually click it and go directly to her website. So Jack, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all the information that you have been giving us. And I hope that we can get together in another moment.
Listen, lady, next time in Puerto Rico, I'm going to look you up.
Yes, please.
We'll have to go out for a cocktail or a
I
coffee.
love that. Yes. Well, all of you, thank you for joining Being Power Woman, the talk show. I hope you can join us next Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you. Hi, I'm your host, Nancy Rivera from the program Being Power Woman, the talk show. Thank you for all the support that we have been receiving through our program. And thank you for supporting our special guests. If this is the first time that you have been watching our TV show, I invite you to go to the on-demand service so that you can see our older episode and see that we have different topics from business, empowerment, grieving, parenthood, and much more. As you may know, our corporation is a nonprofit. That means that more than 80% of our services are for free. We are trying to help our community, survivors, our women's, kids, schools, and much more. It doesn't matter how much you can donate. The thing is that we're going to be grateful and we're going to be helping another life. So thank you for your support. And remember to join us every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern time in our program, Being Power Woman, the talk show.